Good morning. I was going to wait till 5:49 this morning, but I kept feeling no, go now, go now. So I will. Oh, today's title is Ninth Wave, Silent Music Rocking the World. And I wrote, I don't remember hearing in my dreams. They are silent. Lots of movement and scenes change. Physical sensation, including erections, are noticed, as in this morning's dream. So when I am at silent concerts in crowds of people around the world, what does it mean? In my meditation, it means that music we cannot hear consciously is rocking the world and awakening our creativity, our potency. And I'm going to step back a little bit from that for a second and read Tut's message by Mike Dooley that I got this morning when I came to the computer. He wrote, and of course these are all messages from the universe or from God. He wrote, quote, "Of course there are exceptions, but all in all it seems to me that those who are religious cling, whereas those who are spiritual seek. But to be really honest, Ron, it's the happy folks who know how to live." Grins. The universe. Decide to be happy, Ron, and the world will beat a path to your door. End quote. Yes, 3 days in a row, actually, I've remembered dreams. I didn't talk about my dream yesterday because, quite frankly, I couldn't make any significance out of it, or I couldn't get any meaning out of it. It was just random, and it didn't seem to relate to anything that had a message in it, at least not that I could discern or determine upon awakening and meditating. But 3 mornings in a row, I have heard my dreams. And in my dream this morning before I woke up, and it seemed like I was in it for like a couple of hours, truthfully, I even looked at the clock, 2 or 3 times, starting at 3 something. But I wasn't really awake at 3 something, just enough to be aware of what was going on in my physical surroundings before being pushed back in or going back into the dream state. But enough to be consciously aware of some things like the time and the clock and my physical body and what was happening with me in my flesh. But in the dreams, it seemed like I was traveling all over the world, and I was in crowds of people, and there were concerts happening, but I didn't hear the music. I didn't hear anything, and as I said in the opening there, I don't remember ever really hearing in my dreams. There's no sound, just images. Interesting, because when I went into the meditation in the atrium this morning, and even in this very moment, I'm very conscious of the sound of the spheres. I can hear it. I can hear that when I'm conscious virtually all the time. If I'll just stop for a second, there it is. I mean, I always hear it in my ears. I always hear this, as I call it, the sound of the spheres, the music of the spheres. It's always playing. But in the dream, it was silence. And as I said, I was aware of physical sensations. Each time that I would awaken, I was sexually aroused, or at least physically potent. And I notice things like that, and I'm supposed to notice them, I guess, because when I wake up and I meditate on it, those things come back to me, or at least they did this morning, as something of significance. There's a meaning to that. It has something that we can relate to, that I can relate to, and I know this morning this is something that we can all relate to. Because as I traveled around the world at all these concerts, it was a burst of creativity. It was a burst of people excited, and as Mike Dooley says, happy. It was like celebratory. And we were so, not just me, but we were so creatively potent, so sexually aroused in our passions and in our humanity. I mean, it was just amazing, amazing as I pondered the dream itself and what is happening across the planet. Folks, this thing is a cosmic event that we're involved in, this ninth wave. And we're drawing toward the end of the fifth night. It ends on Sunday when I give my message, the day I give my message at the pod on awakening humanity, a global phenomenon, or awakening consciousness, a global phenomenon. And those of you that can make it to Central Florida, I invite you to do so. Sunday, 10:30 at the pod on Peachtree Street in Cocoa, Florida. But anyway, I was so aware in the meditation of how this music of the spheres, this silent music, is rocking the world. Remember, sound is one of the creative things, but the silent sound that we aren't yet able to totally pick up with our conscious hearing, that sound is so potently creative. There's so much power even in the sound that we cannot yet attune ourselves to. And we have no idea the effects that this is having across the planet. And every person is being affected. Every person is hearing it at a subconscious level or a superconscious level. We're all hearing this sound, and we're all recognizing the flame of freedom that's beginning to burn in the human heart like never before, so that those that try to suppress us and keep us down, which is part of our self, folks, it's not just out there, it's inside of us. That's why we're recognizing it out there, because we're starting to recognize it in here, in each of us, in our inner self. But that which is pushing us down is being affected, and it's knocking down the walls. It's vibrating out the barriers that have separated us from each other, that have made us hold back from our loving and our giving and our sharing and our creativity that is given to us, not so that we can make lots and lots of money, but so that we can share the beauty and share the gifts and share the excitement and celebrate our humanity as it merges and marries our divinity. And it happens within each of us, folks. I want you to understand that this is what Spirit is making me understand. It's awakening. And as Mike Dooley says, religious people cling to their old creeds and their old doctrines and their old ways of seeing the world. And spiritual people seek new answers and new solutions. And we can all choose to be happy. And happiness is a choice. What are we choosing? How are we choosing to see what we're focusing on? How are we choosing to see it? Are we choosing to see it as hopelessness and helplessness? Thank you, all of you that sent messages for my friend as a response to yesterday's video. I forwarded each one of them to her. What she does with them is her choice. She called me again yesterday, distraught, absolutely distraught. And by the time I finished talking with her, I felt absolutely drained. And people don't generally drain me. Actually, people don't drain me at all. It's something that I do to me as a result, because I felt absolutely hopeless and helpless. I felt her hopelessness and helplessness. I felt them. I felt what she was feeling. I felt her despair. And she's not the only one that's despairing, folks. There's perhaps you this morning, or whenever you're listening to this, perhaps you're in that place of despair where the world seems hopeless. But there is a silent music, silent concerts that are happening all over, just beyond the realm of our hearing, maybe just beyond the realm of your seeing. But there's joy and there's excitement and there's celebration there. If only you can get to that place within you. It's in you. It's not just in me. It's not just in my dream. It's a living dream. It's there for all of us. If only you allow yourself to go there, to be there, to feel that feeling, to let your body respond with its own excitation, with its own arousal. Let your body feel it and know it in your soul, know it in your spirit, know it in your heart. And if the mind gets in the way, screw the mind. Screw the mind temporarily. Because the mind is where all the fear is coming from. I'm not putting down the mind. But our mind builds up realities and projects things that are not even happening yet and may not ever happen. Let the walls fall down inside of you, and they will fall down in the world. But you've got to be willing to be willing. You have to be willing to allow whatever is coming up for you. Allow it there. Be thankful for it, even if it's depression, even if it's immense worry. Whatever it is, be thankful for everything, for this is the will of God for you in your life. To be thankful and to give thanks and to express gratitude for everything, especially the things that you don't feel like you can possibly be thankful for. How can I be thankful for this? It hurts. No, your resistance to it hurts. The hurt is always in the resistance. It's not in the emotion that you're feeling. It's in the resistance to the emotion and saying, I don't want to feel this. I don't want to experience this possibility of this thought that I'm thinking that I'm going to lose everything. Be willing to lose it. And I know you can go back and look and see some of my resistance to the thought of loss. But be willing to lose it, and you'll gain it. You'll have it in a different way. Even if you lose it in the physical realm, you'll gain it in the spiritual realm, and it will manifest in the physical realm again. It can't help it, because that's how creation works. Creation always manifests that which is going on beneath the level of your consciousness, the part where everything is silent. Everything is silence. And that's where all the power is. And it's ready to vibrate into manifestation, into manifest form. But embrace the changes that are here. Embrace them with all of your heart, with all of your being. Embrace them. Because ultimately, it's the prelude to a time of worldwide global celebration as the flame of freedom burns away all the dross that we have had in our lives that have kept us destitute and impoverished. That shall be no more if we but move into the flow and allow it. And we almost can't make any other choice. Namaste. Thank you.